Welcome back to Alcohol Content. What's going on? We're coming at you, what I just said. But before we get into it, who we drinking with? We got Ryan.
Well, how do you do?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well. Wow. We got Rick.
Yo.
Wow, he's hip.
Doggy, let's roll.
You got me, Austin. And today, we got some Scotch. But what kind of Scotch? I don't know. Let's ask our boys. What's going on, boys?
I'm excited. We've got Benriach Expression, just their 12-year, and then their Smokey 12.
Okay.
The reason we're doing this is it's reasonable. We want to, and it's a reasonably priced Scotch. You know, $60-$65 gets you either one of these.
For single malt,
for 12 years
Yeah.
Single malt. That's
Nowadays,
exactly.
in this economy,
That's still my line.
So what's poured is the regular 12-year, and I believe they both run 92 proof. So that's a decent proof for Scotch for sure. Okay. So there's nothing cast strength or anything like that, but it's speyside Scotch, single malt, so it's barley.
triple maturation,
Ooh.
aged in bourbon, sherry, and port casks.
Okay. This is just this one, the
Regular.
blue one.
Yeah, just
Yes.
the regular 12.
And they age them in the casks for roughly 12 years, and then so it's like they don't take the same distillate and it's in a bourbon one, and then 3 years in pour it into another.
Yeah.
They age them for 12 years in each of those casks, and then blend and marry them.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
which is typically how a lot of the Scotch distilleries do it, where they just have tons of barrels and different kinds of barrels, and they're aging stuff for different lengths of time, and then they'll blend whenever they want to and need to. Now, I think that changes if they say it's finished in
that
something.
would make sense.
Yes,
then
correct.
they're pouring the distillate into a new barrel.
To finish it, and usually for a shorter period of time.
But if they don't say that, then I think then it's just like, okay, this was aged for 12 years in a port barrel, so how much of this do we want in the final
Right.
batch?
Now, what we don't know, they're pretty transparent, like this is, they don't color this and all that type of stuff, but we don't know the percent, this percentage was in bourbon barrels when it's blended, and this percentage.
Okay, if it tastes good.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just based on looks right now, I am liking the floral colors.
Yeah, the light
pastel.
sort of pastel.
Like the lavender and then the
light blue. Yeah.
Although the labels themselves, I wouldn't be able to tell one from the other. I kind of wish that they kept with that color tone onto the label themselves, because I'm looking at them both, and you just have to read it to make sure you know which one's which. But
yeah, that's why you got the tins.
Good thing they come in the tube.
Exactly. The tubes are the most important things.
So I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what.
On the nose, I definitely get that port sherry. I get more of the port, honestly. It smells more like a port Scotch than a sherried Scotch. It gets that dark, kind of plummy, dark fruit.
Oh, there's dark fruit there.
Like molassesy, dark, chocolatey kind of note on there.
Yeah. You're making like a dark syrup.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it smells good.
That's
it kind of
heavy.
reminds me of some GlenDronach, actually.
A little bit.
Not bad.
Say that name, get me excited.
Yeah.
It's floral, but I swear I get like a hint of cocoa or something on the nose.
And this might be just because of the look, but my brain is connecting like blueberries.
Huh. Well,
that's that tin for you, baby.
It's tricking me. It's tricking my mind.
Well, there is fruit for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I would say the tins are like a light, soft color. And to me, this nose is way darker and deeper.
For sure.
Ooh.
What's tasted it? And folks, you just need to understand this. I'm gonna lay it out for you, okay? Scotch is just better. It's just better than everything. Okay?
Is this the Bourbon Master saying this?
This is the Bourbon Master.
What?
He's been revoked.
Oh, what is going on here?
You guys removed my Bourbon Master, so I'm now I've been, anything that'll take me.
Now he's a Scotch. He's a Scotch scrub.
I'm a Scotch scrub.
Scrub.
No, Man, we just had some bourbon a little bit ago, which I love bourbon. But man, when you have a good Scotch, you're like,
it's something different.
It's something different, and you don't have there's just a lot of baggage, in my opinion, with bourbon. And we're not talking about bourbon today, so I'm going to stop going on that tangent. This tastes fantastic. This is nice and relaxing.
This is really nice.
A nice sweetness. It just a little bit of floral, and it's funny because on the nose you have the heavy fruit. Well, that heaviness is not on the flavor profile. This isn't. You mentioned Glendronach. This is not like Glendronach Batch 12 or anything like that. This isn't heavy like anything.
It's
like
lighter
that.
than that for sure.
But it's
rich.
It's rich though.
It's rich.
When it first hits my tongue, there's that buttery viscosity. It envelopes my tongue or whatever when it first hits the mouth.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the very end of the palate, I get almost like a super malty, like beer note almost.
Yeah.
Like I can almost
hard barley.
Yeah, I taste the alcohol, but it's not like just straight alcohol. It's like a beer form of alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely. Are either of you picking up tannins from the wood?
I get a little bit.
The back end for sure. Yeah. I'm definitely getting some tannins from wood. But
I mean, listen,
12 year,
listen,
$60.
Yeah, for this price, I think this bat's above. I think this. If you were to blind taste this and you were to say how much do you think this costs?
Yeah.
You're probably saying 100.
This is above the bats, that's for sure.
Boy, I'm getting all kinds of. I mean, I like this, but I'm sitting here just focusing on. I got some like graphite or slate or something on that a little bit.
I think you were chewing on your pencil there for a little bit.
No, these are just
Jenny
Slate. What I'm really saying is fairly complex. There's all kinds of stuff coming out that are popping off. Nothing super dominant. It's a nice initial mouthfeel.
And I'm getting like a dessert, almost ice cream sweetness. That's like you put the berries on top of the ice cream. And this, I would have this as a dessert. And it's super light, which is nice. And so it's not like you're not going to destroy yourself with some like sherry age something.
But
just sherry.
Just sherry.
It's sweet, but that tannin from the wood comes in to go. I'm going to balance that a little bit. I'm actually getting when you said ice cream, I'm getting hazelnut.
Okay, yeah, that's actually kind of
almost like a Tillamook hazelnut vanilla ice cream, along with some fruit too. Some fruit on top of the ice cream. Wow.
So this is 92 proof.
92 proof.
This is a well balanced bottle. I'm a fan. It's good.
Really good.
Rachel Berry.
Yeah, great blend.
The blending, yeah.
Great blend. Well, now we got to finish this and move on to the next one.
So good.
This is pleasant.
Yeah.
Okay, so talking about the next one, this is the Smokey 12 year. So it's speyside peat. So it's peated. So it'll be smoky. But then it's also triple matured. But instead of port barrels, they're using Marsala wine casks. So it's bourbon barrel, sherry barrel, Marsala barrel.
Okay.
So not the port. Instead, we have Marsala.
So I'm kind of curious what made them go with the blue note. Because like the Marsala, the wine, I can kind of get that. I wonder why they went with blue with the other one. But maybe because of the berry.
Blueberry.
Yeah. Maybe that's why. Maybe I should be a blender and the designer.
The other thing to keep in mind is Speyside is the River Spey and is a Speyside distillery, but that runs through the Highlands. So they have the option to say we're Highlands or we're Speyside.
Must be nice.
Yeah, exactly. So this is peated, fairly lightly peated, I think. But it is Highland peat, which is definitely different than like Islay peat or Orkney Islands peat or whatever.
Right.
Usually on that peat, I get more of a woody sticks and wood versus, thick vegetal mossy.
Well, yeah, the Islay peat is like iodine and moss.
Trying to throw it around. So again, 12 years, same concept, barrels wise, other than what Ryan already mentioned, that it's Marsala.
Woo! You smell the smoke.
So it's 3-barreled matured.
Mm-hmm.
Is each of the barrels do they have peated juice in them? So all of it's peated?
I believe it is. So good question. I can't speak with certainty, but usually the way peating is they put the malt, the barley malt out on the floor, and then they wet it so it germinates. No, is that not it?
It's a combination of peated and unpeated.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. That's why I said it's lightly peated. But well, so you're right. So I guess some of the barrels could just not have peated stuff.
I wonder which ones don't, is it the wine that doesn't have the peat,
Or is it all peated barley in, separate rick house with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
These three different, that's a great question. I don't know. I do know, I believe I know that this is one of the few distilleries that truly, I think in October, I could be wrong, September, October, they have like a peated week where they literally still put the barley on the top floor and peat it or whatever.
Oh, cool.
And most of them like ship it out. Like
Yeah.
there's peating houses or whatever, because it's a very labor intensive, you're raking it and stuff like that. But I think
there's a whole industry of you want your shit peated?
Exactly. But as far as like Speyside or whatever, and Speyside's not known for its peated, it's known for many other things, but yeah, they definitely have a hint of smoke on this. I can smell the smoke for sure. And that's pleasant.
Oh yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of that Speyside sweetness with the kind of seaside peaty notes.
That's a pretty cool nose.
Yeah. That's enjoyable.
Again, 92 proof, just like the other one.
Oh man, that is super. It's like it's almost like a weird candy because the nose is super smooth and sweet, but this strange peat note.
See, to me, I would compare like the peat to this is more like kind of a campfire in a dry forest, like more like an evergreen forest, whereas Islay peat is like campfire in a swamp.
Yeah, it's kind of funny you say campfire. This actually kind of reminds me of the campfire blended
High West.
High West.
Yeah.
Because that's the kind of peat that has. It's not like the iodine. It's more
more like this.
Yeah. Maybe they have Highland peat.
They probably
might
do.
Be something to look into on that bottle.
They probably do. They're probably getting it from these guys. No, I don't know.
Oh, you're talking about.
But they're pretty big, right? Benriach's pretty big.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. Yes. They've had a resurgence and stuff like that. I think with this sort of triple matured, with the different casks and stuff.
I think it's cool. I haven't really heard too much of people doing that, and so maybe that's common, and they're just selling it more. Whatever the reason, I like the idea. I would just I want the exact percentages. It'd be that's where it would be really fun to be like, oh man, this is how they all change. But they also don't want to give away their secret sauce. So
exactly,
it is what it is, I guess. Oh, and now, man, I just now noticed a symbol.
Yeah.
Flip the top over to the
top.
camera. But here, we'll do.
Sorry,
like that. That's super cool. A B and a D. That's dope. Some design,
which is subdued here too.
So here's my hot take on these. I like the non-smoky one better. I think the non-smoky one fits in the regular 12, fits in such a nice category of inexpensive, very delicious. I think you could put that up against anything in that price range that's single malt and sherry barreled or whatever, and I think it could win in that category. The Smokey 12 is very good and obviously different. I think for me, if I want peat, I kind of want to go more full on peat. I'd rather have the blast of peat, kind of like the Islays. So it's good, but it's sort of a half step. And as my motto is no half steppers in my crew.
Yeah, no half steppers.
So, I mean, they're both very good, but I think to me, I would lean toward the regular 12 because I think that's more approachable and just I could drink that every day probably. Whereas the Smokey, I would not drink every day.
Sure. So the note that leans me to agreeing with you, although I don't completely agree with you, is the minty note that is coming from the peat. I don't know it's like a strange spearmint, and it's something that's unexpected. It's unique, but I feel like I just brushed my teeth, and I don't want to necessarily taste that when I'm drinking alcohol. It's really good. I actually like this a lot, and it's because of that mint note. I was kind of hoping that this would be introduce someone to peat kind of bottle, but the mint is really throwing me off. Are you guys getting the mint?
I'm getting this. I don't think as strongly as you are, but I do understand what you're saying.
It's kind of making me.
It's a spearmint too.
Yeah, and it's making me not feel great. It's just like too much mint.
Yeah,
but it tastes really good. It is like
it's a good bottle. I'm not trying to say it's not a good bottle.
So I know you said that. So we kind of jumped the gun a little bit. You gave your hot take. What is it that you're experiencing? Like, what are you tasting in the bottle?
I get that I know what you're saying. It's like a dry vegetation. It's not super damp and mossy and, green. Wouldn't describe it as green, but it's more of that. The campfire goes in line with that sort of mint note you're talking about. And it's different. I haven't had too many bottles that are peated like this. And
I wonder if they would say if they would specifically call it a lavender note.
Well, they have.
I don't know, but
here.
I mean, I'm getting a lot of the same notes that I got on the regular 12.
Orange smoked.
But it's almost like I'm sitting around. So I'm getting this, but I'm physically sitting around a, wood burning campfire.
I like the wood on it though. Mm-hmm. The wood's nice. It comes in like a big dip, like amplitude of the wood increases, and then the tannins stick around and just mellows out.
But I'm also getting sort of more of a darker chocolate. This was a little cocoa. This is a little darker chocolate.
It's like a lavender chocolate. There's some sort of floral.
There's still floral going on.
Yeah.
And I do pick up a hint of, I'm going to call it spearmint for me.
Yeah.
I think the floral is from the Marsala wine.
Okay. Which I'm not familiar with Marsala.
But I think, for me, that richer port note in the regular 12, that's what pushes it over the edge of like, okay, this is really good.
Yeah.
Whereas the Marsala note in here that's what we're sort of debating, because it's kind of hard to pick out. It's a little weird. It intermingles with the other notes of it in a different way.
Now, so you're comparing them.
I am. In a vacuum, they're both excellent.
I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan of both. And I think if I'm camping, I take the Smokey 12. Or we might just have to, off air, go outside with a cigar and try the Smokey 12.
Sure. Don't mind if I do.
I for $60, $65, these are heavy hitters.
Yeah, considering the price range, these are fantastic bottles, and I would say definitely pick them both up.
Yeah, so they're both the same price.
I think the Smokey might be a touch more, but in the $5 difference.
Well, there you have it, folks. We're just gonna put a stamp on it. The normal 12-year, you gotta go pick that up.
That's essential.
If you're into just Scotch, that is a great Scotch. Speyside, single malt. Man, it is packing a punch with a lot of floral notes, stuff like that. If you're into the peated stuff and you want to try something different, I think that's really what this bottle's. Yeah, it's definitely there, but it's an interesting one. The Marsala cask, we're kind of throwing a wild card, and that's going to be up to you to see if that's in your palate. So if you're wanting to try something new, go all for it. It looks pretty, great. Get it for your wife because it's lavender color, and then you can justify drinking it.
It's
2 thumbs up for sure.
Yes,
but we're saying you got to go get the.
This is like
year.
1.5 thumbs up, and this is like 1 thumbs up.
Yeah. All righty. You like the episode because we're doing Scotch again. If you don't like Scotch, get out of here.
Try it.
Okay?
Try this.
Try it. You should go try it. Outside of that, subscribe because you want to see more.
Please.
And then hit that little bell button because you'll be like, oh, when's the next time you're going to put an episode? Ding, ding, ding. Boom. Now you know.
Cling, clang.
Cling, clang, diggling, dang. See ya.